Can you give me a hand, boy? With a nail. Or two, or three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
With a chopped off nail. With a chopped off nail.
Hi everyone, this is Max from Ellimacs SFX, and in this episode we are taking a stab at creating a reusable mask. We've done this before, but there is a weirdness factor onto this mask. We were browsing ideas on the web and came across this weird looking mask, and it was actually a stage mask from the band Mushroom Head. So we thought this was pretty cool. Let's try to create something like this, and so we did. And speaking about crazy stuff, go check out Ellie's vlog, because there is some awesome, nasty, gory stuff from that workshop she was attending in Dublin. So go check that out. There's a lot of gory goodies for you. I'm gonna stop babbling now. Let's do this. This tutorial requires intermediate skills and takes as much as 3 hours or more to complete, depending on how much decoration and what kind of paint job you want to create. And also check out that awesome predator mask if you want a real project to sink your teeth into. Alright, so let's start this, and we are gonna create a mold with alginate. For that we need water and alginate. So we don't have any exact ratio for this, which I know you hate, by the way, but mush it around there, get it into the right consistency, and I suggest you do one hand at a time. Ellie of course wanted to do both. She adds a little bit more to get it right, and then sinks down those hands and let the whole thing set. Now, depending on your mix, the set time will vary, of course, and just gently wiggle your hands out there without too much movement, and you have a really, really nice mold. Awesome. But we need 2 more sets with a lot of fingers, because all those little fingertips are going to be the teeth for our monster mask. So again, let it all set. Pull those fingers out, and we did 2 sets of those. There you have it all. Now it's time for the gelatin mix, and this time we have a ratio for you. 1 part water, 1 part glycerol, and 1 part gelatin powder. Pour it in there, make sure you stir it around properly, and then throw it in the microwave 15 seconds at a time. We want this to be the really, really right consistency. However, as you will see later on, Ellie did not get that right consistency. And here we are mixing in some foundation to get that skin tone going. A little more maybe? Yeah, a little bit more. Don't want that gelatin to be too transparent or clear. Alright, so with the mix all done, we pour it down into our molds and let them chill and turn into awesome hands. However, as you see there, Ellie's mix is a little chunky, and you will see that in the result as well. So we suggest you make sure that it's really melted. I guess that's the issue here. It wasn't really hot enough when we did it in the microwave. Alright, when it's all set, you just peel that whole thing off, and of course you can add a little bit of a release agent like Vaseline before you pour that gelatin in. With all our pieces out, we cut up our little fingers. These are going to be the teeth. Looking good, looking good. And then we take a flimsy plastic mask. We just have something underneath it to give it some support. We place the gelatin mask on top just to get an idea of where we want to create the hole for the eyes. And then just use a pair of scissors, cut out that eye. We sort of do a wedge shape thing there on the edge, cut it down so it's sloping down sort of. And we are actually going to use more gelatin to stick those hands straight onto that plastic mask. So ample amounts of that gelatin. It doesn't matter if it runs down on the edge there. We also dip the whole hand in gelatin to really, really get it everywhere. Push it down, make it stick, and then drip down a little bit of gelatin on the edges there to really give it a grip, and hold it in place until it really sets. Then we go straight for those fingertips and apply one in the center of it all. Then go and cut up our mouth. We don't want that tiny mouth, we want a big hole there. Then it's back to the same process, using gelatine as a glue, and attach all those fingertips. You can have as many or as few as you want for your mouth. Teeth from hands in Swedish is tänder av händer. Now let's create that cool eye in the center, and for that we're using a cotton pulp ball. And again, the gelatine, just stick it there, straight in. And again, we line it with additional gelatine. Make sure it sticks there. And to give the mask the same texture, we add a lot of that gelatine outside around the hands onto that plastic. Alright, looking awesome. Head on over to Jack SFX. It's Jacob, 16 years old, doing awesome stuff. Really, really brutal. Just look at those faces. You need to go follow this account. Paint job, and this time we are going for alcohol-based colors. And we begin with a mix of red and brown, sort of, and gently flick that onto the mask. And I'm not sure you see the difference there, but we layer this, building up the colors with that flicking until we get to where we want to. As always, you can use any kind of colors you got. Now our teeth are chopped up fingers, so we need them to be a lot darker there on the chopped off edges. So we add a little bit of a darker tone with a small brush, and then go in with the larger brush to even it out and mix it all in. And the same goes for the eyes. We need them to be sort of dark and fleshy looking. So again, going in with the darker tones, fade them into the rest of the areas there around the eye. They go in for those streaky marks there to give it a rough, nasty look. And in those deep folds, we add additional dark tones to give the whole thing a lot more depth. Then we switch our attention to the cuticles, and we need them to be rough and ugly. We are going to apply nails to these later on, but we need a nice dark base there to make them look really fleshy and nasty. And to not get bored, we go back and forth on the different sides there of our face. And since this side is the palm of our hand, we need to go in and create lines where we have all our joints, as well as additional lines. Ellie is using her own hand here as a reference. Going in with a dark tone, smudge it out with a fingertip and a larger brush as well. And as I mentioned before, our gelatine mix was not mixed properly. It did not melt the way it should. So as you see there, we have a little bumpy texture on the hands there. It should have been silky smooth. But hey, still kind of adds to the roughness of the whole mask. So additional flicking here, and then turn to our grease-based colors and go into all those deep areas with darker tones, shades of both black and brown to give the mask some real depth. And as mentioned in the tutorial overview, the paint job is where it all takes time. So it's up to you how long you want to spend on creating all the details and going over everything, because this can take a lot of time really. Acrylic nail tip time. There we go. And we cut them all up to make them look broken, because that way our hand, finger, teeth will look really, really raw. We actually use that supplied nail glue to attach them to our little fingers. And of course, if you want to make a beauty version of this to have super nice fingers with nail polish on, that would be a trick as well to try out. The beauty version of this might look freaky. And of course, the nails go on the opposite side there, since we have our palm facing forward. However, those nails are looking way too bright and clean, so we go in with a earth tone palette and add some dirt, both beige brown and dark brown on the edges there, to give those teeth some life and dynamics. Alright, and now the clips are in the wrong order, but we pour up some varnish here. You don't have to use that sort of varnish. If you don't want to, you can use nail polish as well in the next step. And we tear up some yarn to create the eyes. We need those bloodshot eyes. So what we do is apply a little bit of varnish or clear nail polish to our little eye, and then, yep, wrap those little yarn pieces on there, and it'll look all bloodshot. Additional varnish on top, and again you can use clear nail polish. We're trying to create an eye, so we need a pupil here, but we suggest you print out a picture of an iris. In our case, we did not have that picture. However, we had a dated contact that we can no longer use, so we put that on there to create our little eye. And then again, cover that with the varnish or clear nail polish to get that shiny texture of the eye. Closing in on the finish line, so we trim down the mask a little bit, and then we take this piece of fabric and sort of tie it around into the eyes there, and this thick band will be very helpful to keep the mask in place on your head later on. Something like that. And it was annoying on the chin there for Ellie when she tried the mask on, so she cut it off. And we bring out some fake pus. In this case you can use mashed banana. It will look pretty much the same. We add that to various places on the mask that we felt needed additional goo. Next up, fake blood time, and of course you can add this to wherever you want or just skip the whole thing if you have done a beauty version of this. And after spending 3 hours creating this, you should have an awesome mask that will look epic, and you can reuse it over and over again. So just put it on. In this case, it was pretty easy to lean back the head and tie a little knot there with that wide band. And there you go. That is one crazy looking mask. And as you can see in this shot, Ellie has painted both her mouth and her eyes all black before putting that mask on to give it even more depth in those hollowed out areas of the eyes. If you like this tutorial, give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends on other social media. That helps us a lot. And don't forget to subscribe. And don't forget, we have more tutorials on masks that you can reuse. So go check them out, and we will see you next time. Love you. Take care. Bye.